Sailah's knees buckled as a bout of heat hit her out of nowhere. She grabbed onto the back of the couch to keep herself upright. This time around, she knew exactly what was happening to her. Unlike last time, it had come with no forewarning. She hadn't known when her next heat would hit, but that it was today of all days was a bit ironic. On shaky legs, she headed towards the bedroom to get her phone. She grabbed it off the nightstand and unlocked it. She brought up their group chat and started a video call in it. Satoru and Kento answered almost at the same time. "Hey, pretty." "Hi, can you come home?" "What's wrong, little Alpha?" Satoru asked as Suguru joined the call. "I'm in heat. Please come home." "You weren't supposed to take the inducer until this evening when Kento and I got off, little one," Suguru said. "I didn't take an inducer," she started, "and there was no forewarning. It just hit me out of nowhere." "That can happen at times when your cycle is irregular," Kento said. "I'll have Ume reschedule the rest of my meetings and I'll be home soon." "I'm on my way now," Satoru said. "Haruta should be here in a few minutes and I'll be on my way," Suguru added. "Hydrate and maybe take a cold shower if it gets to be too much before we arrive." "Okay," Saelah agreed, though she was sure the only thing she would want to do was wait for her alphas to come and make her feel better. She ended the call and decided to build her nest while she waited. She gathered items from each of her alphas, and the scent of them helped calm the heat in her stomach, the want that was taking over her. Satoru arrived first, but she figured he would. He'd gone out to run some errands and pick up a few things for later that evening when she was supposed to take the inducer. She was finishing up her nest when he walked into the bedroom. Saelah moved to him, and he wrapped his arms around her as she breathed in his scent, and her Omega whimpered in need. "You made such a nice nest, baby," Satoru complimented, and Sailah's Omega preened. "Have you eaten anything since I've been gone?" She shook her head in response. "Then why don't we get some food in you while we wait on the others?" He went to take a step back, but she held him tighter, a whine pushing past her throat, and without a word her alpha picked her up. She wrapped her legs around his waist as she buried her face in his neck, nosing at his scent gland. Once in the kitchen, Satoru didn't even try to put her down as he pulled out some fruit, yogurt, and granola. She knew she needed to put something on her stomach that wouldn't upset it when she eventually lost herself to the pleasure. Satoru sat her on the counter, standing between her legs as he prepared the yogurt. They were still in that position 10 minutes later, with him feeding her when Suguru and Kento came in. "How are you feeling, pretty?" "Still clear-minded for the moment," she responded. "I want to be marked while I still am." "Then shall we move to the bedroom?" Suguru asked. Saelah nodded and reached for him. Suguru picked her up and carried her into the bedroom, her other alphas behind them. He placed her in the middle of her nest, and she whimpered when he tried to pull away. "I'm not going anywhere, little one. I'm just admiring the nest you made," he told her. "It's perfect, pretty," Kento complimented, and she preened once again, the same way she had when Satoru had complimented it. They joined her on the bed, Kento removing her shirt, and Sailah's heartbeat kicked up in anticipation. "How do you want us to do it?" Satoru asked. They'd agreed that they would mark one another during her next heat cycle, but they hadn't stated how exactly they would do it, but she wanted to feel them put their marks on her at the same time. "Together," she responded. They moved in on her, Kento on her left, Satoru on her right, and Suguru at her back. The gland on the back of the neck wasn't often used for mating marks, but the average person didn't have 3 mates, and she wanted each of hers to mark their own gland. 2 sets of hands settled on her waist, the other on her thighs. "Deep breath, pretty," Kento instructed, the deep baritone washing through her. She did as instructed, and as she let it out, she felt their canines sink simultaneously into her glands, and while there was an initial bite of pain, it soon shifted to something euphoric and liquid pulled between her legs, which only increased when they each licked the mark they'd just left on her. When they pulled away, she reached out, pulling one of them to her. She was so overwhelmed by their scent that it wasn't until her nose was buried in his neck that she realized it was Kento. She kissed his gland before sinking her teeth into it, basking in the groan he released, and then the smell of his arousal thickening in the air. Satoru was next, and once his arousal thickened and blended, she began to feel fuzzy, but she shook it off, turning to Suguru. She climbed into his lap, ran her tongue along his gland, and sank her teeth into it. His hands on her waist tightened, and she rolled her hips as she removed her teeth from his neck. "Now, not me," she requested before her lips were on his, and she was heavily surrounded by her alpha scents. The last thing Saelah thought she would find when she moved for a new start was a mate, let alone 3, but she couldn't be happier with the direction her life was going in. She made new friends, had a best friend that loved her, 3 mates that did as well, and she had no doubt they'd eventually expand their family, all because 3 hearts had joined hers as one.